Well, hi, we're going to take two on this tonight's Upgrade to the Nucleus 6 webinar. And I'm here again joined with Allison Beaver, an audiologist from Rocky Mountain Ear, who is we're going to have way too much fun tonight.
Absolutely. We're delighted to be talking to you about some exciting information, and I'm honored to be sharing this time with Perry Tantillo. She is a bilateral cochlear implant recipient and a cochlear employee. So we are absolutely honored to have this opportunity to talk to you. We're going to start with a little bit of housekeeping to begin with. We only have an hour with you tonight, so we want to do our very best to highlight the most important information in the time that we have available. There are many other places you can go to get more information. So you could check out the Nucleus 6 Upgrade website. Yep. Or you can go to the Cochlear community for additional information. The Upgrade team at Cochlear is also staffed with specialists, and they can answer any questions you have. And we encourage you to type in and submit any questions that you have, and at the end of this webinar, we will do our very best to address whatever questions you have. We are very, very honored to have you join us today. We know that you put your trust in Cochlear. You have a Cochlear device. You have trusted not only Cochlear, but also your clinic. And we are honored that you've put your trust in us. So tonight we're going to talk to you about some ways you can further optimize your hearing. As you look at this slide, you look at the lifetime commitment that Cochlear has promised you. They have 30 years of experience. And over that 30-year period of time, they have created 8 different generations of speech processors. And that is pretty darn impressive. And one of the greatest things about being a Cochlear Nucleus recipient is that you can have a device from 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and still take advantage of the technologies that are offered today without having to go through surgery. Right?
Absolutely.
Right?
I'm actually, with the Nucleus 6, will be my second upgrade.
And you didn't have to go through surgery to get your upgrade?
No additional surgery.
So Perry and I are here tonight to talk to you about what's available for you now. Introducing, as of today, the Nucleus 6 sound processor with a remote assistant and a remote control. Tonight you're going to learn more about these amazing products. Perry's going to share some more of her upgrade experience and what the Nucleus 6 sound processor has meant for her and how it's changed her listening experiences. Melanie is going to talk with you in a little bit about insurance coverage and what you can do to get this Nucleus 6 upgrade. And then we'll leave time at the end, last but not least, some question and answer time. So officially today, the Nucleus 6 upgrade has been launched. And this upgrade is for Nucleus Freedom System, Nucleus System, and Nucleus 5 System implant recipients. Perry, which internal devices do you have?
Well, actually, in my right ear, I have a Freedom, which is also known as the 24RE implant. And in my left ear, I have a CI512, which is part of the 500 series.
So you have an upgrade on both ears. You wear the Nucleus 6 processor on both ears.
Yes, I do.
What would people do who have joined us for this webinar that don't know what device they have?
Well, you can contact Cochlear, and obviously we'll be able to help you out and let you know if you are currently eligible for the upgrade program that launched today.
As you look at your screen, you can see on your right the 2 Nucleus 6 sound processors. This is what we're so excited to talk to you about. So you see there are 2 of them. There is the CP910, and it's the slightly larger of the 2, but yet very small and discrete processors. And it has a little silver, what I call trapdoor, and it allows for audio input into the processor. And beside it, you see the CP920, and it's a little bit smaller, and it doesn't have that accessory port on it. And to your left, you see 2 different remote options that you have available. The remote control, or CR210, and then the Nucleus 6 sound remote assistant, which is a little larger. It has the LCD panel, very colorful, and that is referred to as the CR220. Perry, tell me a little bit about which remotes you have and which processors you have.
Actually, both of the remotes I find really interesting to use in different situations. So the smaller remote control, if I am out and I just want to put something in my pocket real quick, it'll do basic things like program changes and volume. So I don't really need it for that much. It's great on the go, so to speak. Being a bilateral recipient, though, I also use the remote assistant because its clear, colorful display lets me know exactly which sound processor I'm adjusting. So if I know if I'm making the right, it's got a big R on it, so that it's pretty intuitive even for me to know which ear I'm adjusting. As far as the sound processors go, I'm currently wearing the ones with, as you put it, the trapdoor or the audio direct input port. So the nice thing about that is, as a bilateral recipient, I use my personal audio cable. But I've had an opportunity to wear the 920, which is smaller, and it is so small, so to speak, that I truly forgot I was wearing it.
That's awesome.
Yes.
We're going to talk a little bit about forwards compatibility. On the previous screen, I talked to you about backwards compatibility, which means, Perry, you had your surgeries quite a few years ago, and yet you still get to take advantage of technology that's available now.
Yes.
But the chip inside your Nucleus 6 sound processor is 5 times more powerful than what you had in the Nucleus 5 processor. And that allows for a concept called forwards compatibility. And that means that there are some very, very exciting things that are being worked on. They include automated technologies. They include wireless technologies. There are some amazing things coming down the road that you will have access to when they're available, once they get FDA approval. At the heart of the Nucleus 6 sound processor is the chip. And as I mentioned, it's 5 times more powerful than the Nucleus 5 processor. So you're going to be able to do some exciting things with your Nucleus 6 sound processor once that's available. You talked about how light the Nucleus 6 sound processor is, particularly when you are using the Nucleus 6 processor without the audio input. It is 29% smaller than a Cochlear Nucleus Freedom, which you used to have.
Yes.
And it is 6% smaller than the Nucleus 5 sound processor. Talk to us about that. What does that feel like? What does that look like? Because you wore the Freedoms.
I did. With the Freedom sound processor, as you can tell, sometimes I'm a little bit dramatic. And I would have to go back and forth between the Freedom sound processor and the Nucleus 6 on certain occasions. And I'd feel like the weight. And I was like, okay, it's so heavy, the Freedom sound processor, compared to the Nucleus 6. It truly is a huge comfort and weight that Cochlear really has done, especially for me as a recipient, made huge strides in the comfort and the size for the Nucleus 6 sound processor compared to the Freedom.
And I have certainly seen that with my pediatric population. Parents have come in the door and they've looked at the Nucleus Freedoms and have said to me, oh, this is going to be so hard to keep on my 12-month-old's ear. And I have had the privilege of fitting the Nucleus 6 sound processor on tiny, tiny ears. And I'm amazed at how well it sits and how small it is. We're just going to introduce these concepts to you tonight. We're going to talk about them in greater detail in the slides ahead. These are some of the new features that are available on your Nucleus 6 sound processor. It has dual omnidirectional microphones, and we're going to tell you how exciting that is and what that means for you and how it can improve your hearing. It works in tandem with smart sound technology, so knowing that there are different programs that you can utilize depending on what the environment looks like.
Yep. That's
smart sound. It has, as we mentioned, 2 remotes. One is a remote control and one is the larger remote assistant with the LCD panel. And there are 3 particular technologies we're going to address: auto FM, auto on and off, and auto telecoil. And we're going to talk about these in greater detail. So we're going to talk first about, and you need to jump in a moment, the synchronized omnidirectional microphones. How exciting is that? So what that does is it allows the dual microphone technology to zoom in or to pick up on what is important to you and to filter out background noise so you can hear better in noisy environments. tell us about how the dual synchronized omnidirectional microphones have worked for you.
I tell you, you know, you and I have discussed over the years the fact that I do so well in noise, and I'm really not a program changer, but I will say this, with the leaps and bounds with the omnidirectional microphones, in a noisy environment, if I go into that noise program that takes advantage of that smart sound technology, it truly is a world of difference. It is, the background noise doesn't interfere, and a lot of times I'll be at a table at a restaurant and people will say, you know what, you're doing so much better than I am, and I actually am a hearing person, so to speak.
Right. Normal hearing people are saying, what? And there you are, sitting and
Very
responding appropriately. As we mentioned, it works in tandem with smart sound, so it's going to optimize the way you're hearing depending on which smart sound program you choose. So whether you are listening to music, whether you're at home and it's quiet, whether you're in a restaurant with 10 of your best friends, it's going to work with smart sound technology to optimize your hearing. One of the most exciting things, I think, about the Nucleus 6 sound processor is the data logging capability that it comes with. So we have a really hard time, at least I do, but I know you do too, remembering what we did yesterday. And I'm always amazed, even when I see you, tell me, Perry, what have you been doing? What have you been up to? What have you been listening to? And getting that information from patients, from you. Talk to me about that experience in data logging.
Well, I know sometimes it would be, I would go out, especially, you know, at first when you were programming me, and I'd be like, okay, Allison, I'm not too sure where I was, but I know I didn't hear well in it. And you recommended, let's write it down. So I would start coming in, at least it would be more helpful if I could tell you I was in this environment and I did well, and when I was home I didn't quite do so well. What I'm excited about with this is because I can't remember what I did yesterday. It allows me to walk into your office and for you literally to hook me up to the programming pod and say, okay, Perry, here's where you've been. And if I say I haven't been doing in noise that well, you can actually say, well, Perry, you're not using your noise program.
Exactly.
You would do better if you would take advantage of the other programs I have for you.
And you mentioned this earlier. Think about the ramifications for parents who don't know what type of environments their kids are in, who don't know how noisy it is. The data logging even allows audiologists to know how noisy is the noise, how much time is spent in that very noisy environment. And with that kind of feedback, we're able to really optimize the way you're hearing.
I'm excited about this.
We mentioned this and introduced this in a previous slide, but there are 3 features that are pretty amazing. One is auto FM. So the intelligence of the Nucleus 6 processor is so exciting. For a child to be able to go into an environment and for the processor to know there's an FM system. The teacher is trying to transmit information and the processor automatically detects it, knows that there's an FM, and goes in automatically to an FM mode. And then when the teacher's finished and it's time for that child to go to the lunchroom, for the processor to know it's no longer in FM and go out of that mode back into the default settings. How intelligent is a system like that? And I know adults that use assistive technology are very excited because it's complicated to them. When do I press the button? When do I get out of this mode? To have a system that's so intelligent, it knows when FM can be enabled. And I don't know what you think of auto on and off. This probably isn't a problem for you. But we have, honestly, some elderly, you're not there yet, Perry. We have some elderly patients who it's very difficult to use the buttons in more than one modality. So the on-off button is also the program button.
Yep.
But now, with the Nucleus 6 sound processor, once the batteries are connected, it immediately turns on. There's no turning it off. And once it's removed from the implant, it automatically recognizes that and turns itself off.
You know, I actually like that feature a lot. It was kind of interesting. I wasn't wowed at the very beginning with it, I'll be that honest. But I have come to depend on that on-off feature. Because there were times when I was part of the trial, so I've been blessed to be a part of the Nucleus 6 upgrade family for some time, where I would wear my Nucleus 5 sound processors. And I would attach my battery component, and I'd put it on my head, and I'd be like, why am I not hearing anything? Oh, I've got to push a button. And then with my Nucleus 6s, I'm literally a twist and go. And I'm out the door, which is wonderful. It's wonderful.
I think that's wonderful for a lot of recipients. And I'm also excited about auto telecoil. It automatically switches into the built-in telecoil. Again, it recognizes when you place a phone over the sound processor, the intelligence in the processor to recognize there's a telecoil or a telephone right next to it and to go into telephone mode.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. No more pushing buttons.
No more pushing buttons. There are some automated and wireless technologies that, as I mentioned, I'm very excited about. Remember the forwards compatibility. You will have the opportunity, once you receive your Nucleus sound processor, to take advantage of future technologies. And one of those future technologies will be the wireless world. Your FM, your MP3 player, your iPods, your GPS, your Bluetooth, your smartphone. There's so many technologies out there. And again, it has the intelligence, although this is not currently FDA approved, it has the intelligence down the road to recognize that it can have this communication with wireless technology.
I can't wait for this software upgrade to be available. I got to tell you this. I have had the pleasure of seeing this work in action, so to speak, and to be able to connect to my iPod without having a wire. I'm not the most coordinated person, so when I'm on the treadmill and I'm using my audio cable, sometimes I'll get a little running too fast, so to speak, and I'll accidentally knock my iPod down. So now I've got my iPod on a wire, and it's kind of flapping behind me, and of course I'm immediately pressing the stop button. So once we have this available, the wireless technology with the upgrade, I'm not going to have that problem. I will be able to just do it through a wireless device.
I have a recipient who was so excited to get the Nucleus 6 sound processor, and he knows that the wireless world is going to be available to him in the future. And he said, I'm tired of things dangling from my neck. I'm tired of always plugging things into my port. I am so excited for these technological updates and for this to be made available to me.
Oh, yeah.
So we're chomping at the bit. But as we mentioned, it's not FDA approved at this point in time. This is a fun slide just because the Nucleus 6 sound processor has so many different options. You can flaunt your stuff or you can hide your processor. And so we're going to talk a little bit about expressing yourself. There are lots of different color options. You can see on your left you have 4 different color options for the sound processor itself. And on the right you can see so many different bright and colorful options. And I do have patients that come in. I have a lady I work with and she wears bright pink when she's wearing a pink outfit, and she really does express herself with what she's wearing. I have kids that order skinnets and have gone to www.skinnet.com to get accessories to play up their Nucleus 6 sound processor and really express themselves. Have you played much with the colors?
I have, and I'm a skinnet girl, I got to tell you. I'm a total skinnet girl. Being we are in the middle of football season here, every once in a while I will come across a Nucleus 6 recipient with an opposing team's skinnet on it. So it always engages us in immediate conversation as to why are you not in a Broncos skinnet? So it's a great way to meet other people too.
It is. So you have those options available. We talked about rocking the audio accessories and plugging into an iPod or an MP3 player. So you currently have that available to you. You can take the Nucleus 6 sound processor. You do this all the time. Plug into your iPod.
Yes, absolutely. And what's nice about the accessories with the Nucleus 6 sound processor, for those people who currently have a Nucleus 5 sound processor, the accessories will work with the Nucleus 6. And for those of you who currently have a Freedom sound processor with a simple adapter, you'll be able to use those accessories as well.
That's very exciting. And there are snug fits that have been created especially for the Nucleus 6 sound processor so that they will fit securely around your ear. I was sharing with you earlier about a little, she's maybe 16 months old, walking around the building like she owns the place with her little snug fits. And her processors didn't budge from her ear, and she was a moving, she was a rocking, and the comfortable snug fits really just kept it nicely secured to her ear. The ear hooks are also really exciting. A lot of my patients that I fit with the Nucleus 6 sound processor have said how comfortable the ear hooks are, and the ergonomic comfort that comes from the ear hook, I think, is a big upgrade for patients who were complaining that it was uncomfortable sometimes with previous generations.
Yes, it's huge advancement in the comfort level of the ear hooks. Huge.
For those of you, and you'll have to share your experiences, that like to be in and around water, this is really, really exciting. The Nucleus 6 sound processor has an IP44 water resistance rating. And that means kids can be out splashing, kids can be out having a good time, people can be in and around water. But when the rechargeable batteries become available, and that's pending FDA approval now, it will increase the water resistance to an IP57 rating. And that means you can be really splashing around, running through sprinklers, kids, adults who like to go to the beach, who get splashed, who like to do gardening and it's raining outside. The IP57 rating is really wonderful in terms of protecting it from moisture.
Yes, and you will have the Aqua accessory available to use as well once the rechargeable batteries.
And I have a few patients who have used the Aqua accessory and are swimming lengths in the pool. I have a little girl who's on a swim team who has the Aqua accessory, and what an amazing advance in terms of being able to allow kids and adults to hear in the water.
Can you imagine Marco Polo? I was
Exactly.
never good with Marco Polo before.
We had a young lady this summer who went white water rafting with her Nucleus 5 sound processor and the Aqua accessory, and it's just so exciting to see that continue with the Nucleus 6 sound processor. Yes. We mentioned this earlier, and Perry spoke about different situations where she might like the compact remote control, and also when she might want to use the remote assistant for more advanced monitoring. I'm just going to speak briefly about the advanced monitoring, but I have a lot of parents who really like it for troubleshooting purposes. They like to know why it's not working, which piece maybe isn't working. They like to check on the status of the battery for their child to see if the batteries are going to last a couple more hours, or if they need to replace the battery. There are a lot of advantages to the remote assistant, but like you, I have a patient who came in this week and he had both, and he said, I got to tell you, I love this remote control. I carry it in my pocket, I pull it out, I make a quick change, and I'm good to go.
Good to go.
And the remote assistant and remote control both have 3-year warranties. That's very exciting.
Oh, yes, it is.
We're going to talk a little bit more about warranties in just a few minutes. But one of the cool and amazing things that Cochlear does, we've talked about backwards compatibility, we've talked about forwards compatibility, but how exciting that the Nucleus 6 sound processor is less expensive to maintain. On average, it's 25% cheaper to maintain a Nucleus 6 sound processor, and that's for a variety of different reasons. That has to do with the microphone protectors and the cost of changing those and being less expensive on the Nucleus 6. The rechargeable batteries will make it less expensive to maintain. Cables and coils will make it less expensive to maintain. Have you noticed since you've switched over to the Nucleus 6 sound processor, obviously you're covered under warranty, but what have you noticed with microphone protectors?
It is. I was kind of surprised because when I heard that was coming down the road, of course I had to look it up. Yes, of course I had to question it and say, okay, you need to show me how that is. And we've really done a good job of trying to reduce the cost of maintenance and hit that 25% overall really close.
I think that's wonderful for our recipients. And the warranty, the Nucleus 6 sound processors and the remotes have a 3-year warranty. And it's really a no questions asked 3-year warranty, which I know my recipients appreciate. And the sound processor, the coil, the cable, the magnet, the remote, everything is covered for 3 years. Yep. We're going to turn it over to Melanie, and she's going to tell you how you can make this happen. What you can do to get your insurance. she'll give you some tips on getting your insurance to help you cover this technology.
Yeah, because I'm sure many of you are wondering, okay, so will my insurance cover this? What if I have Medicare, or can Cochlear help me with that? Do I need a letter of medical necessity? Well, Melanie is our area expert on all those intricate details, so I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you very much. Good evening. My name is Melanie Sorrento, and I am the director over the reimbursement group here at Cochlear. Tonight I'm going to talk to you about ordering an upgrade, as well as using insurance, whether it's Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, Kaiser, or private insurance options. So we do recognize that upgrading is quite an investment. It's not a small investment for you, and we want you to be assured that we're here to help assist you through the process. So as you can see on the screen, there are many different options available to you when upgrading to the Nucleus 6 sound processor. What I'm most excited about is that we're including more things in the upgrade kit than ever before.
Yes, that is very exciting.
As mentioned earlier, there's an average of 25% savings in the maintenance costs, and that's based on, I think you guys talked about just changing the microphone protectors, coil cables, rechargeable batteries, ear hooks, and the remote assistant. The thing that we're really excited about with the N6 is that recipients are getting more options and more accessories. So as you know, we are awaiting FDA approval on the rechargeable batteries, and in the meantime, we are offering 120 disposable battery cells. The battery kit includes a disposable battery holder, tamper-resistant cover, and locking tool. And when rechargeable batteries are FDA approved, we'll send 2 rechargeable batteries and a battery charging kit to every recipient at no charge.
That's very exciting.
It is. It is. And last but not least, you get to choose 3 of your own accessories. And we'll talk about lifestyle recommendations in just a second, but we have some recommended lifestyle options, or you can choose your own 3 accessories, completely up to you. And you will need to choose and identify the colors and links as part of your upgrade order form. So we briefly discussed the lifetime recommendations. If you choose one of these, just depending on what option you choose, we've made it easy based on the feedback from recipients and audiologists. And again, you can choose a lifestyle recommendation, or you can go in and customize and choose your own 3 accessories. So our upgrade options. With this upgrade, we are offering a trade-in option. So if you choose to trade in your current N5 or Freedom, we will allow a $2,000 trade-in option. It's 1 trade-in option per upgrade kit. And just one thing to keep in mind is that this option is not eligible for anybody using Medicare, Medicaid, or government insurance. And if you don't want to trade in your processor, because we have had feedback that recipients like to keep their existing processor for backup in case of emergency, one really neat thing that we're allowing with this program is the option to have your backup sound processor serviced. So if you can send in your N5 or Freedom, and we'll give it a thorough inspection. We'll repair any necessary parts or accessories, and we'll run it through our testing system. Anything that we find that might be in need of replacement, we'll replace that for you. So depending on which option you choose, if you want to go through the trade-in route, we'll discuss those options with you at the time of order. So another neat thing that we're doing for the first time in Cochlear history is we are providing the option of a second sound processor for only $39.95.
I got to tell you something. As a recipient, when I saw what we've done to put all these packages together in a new and different way, it thrilled me. And this right here that I'm going to let you talk about now, it is one of the most exciting things I've seen the whole Cochlear team come up with this upgrade process.
Right. Well, I'm glad you feel that way, because we came up with this idea strictly based off of the feedback, again, that recipients want to have backup sound processors. And so with this option, if you want to have the newest sound processor available as a backup option for you. You're always in sound. If something should happen to your current processor, you have another N6 available that you can easily just put on. So one thing to point out with this second option for $39.95, it does include the processor, one coil, cables, one magnet, ear hooks, disposable battery holder, and a tamper-resistant battery cover. And just one thing to note is insurance is likely not going to cover a backup processor or second sound processor for you, so this would be something that you would want to keep in mind as well. So with the upgrade payment options, we do accept Visa, MasterCard, or American Express. In addition, to help with some of the financial viability, I should say, we are offering Care Credit. And Care Credit, they have programs available that you can upgrade for just small monthly payments. And the upgrade cost is approximately $173 per month if you do choose to use the trade-in option. In addition, this is an item that is covered under your flex spending account. So if you do have a flex spending account through your employer, the upgraded processor is something that is covered. In addition, from the insurance realm, we do accept here at Cochlear. We work with Medicare, Medicaid, TRICARE, Kaiser, or any associations of managed Medicaid or managed Medicare programs as well. And again, I think I mentioned TRICARE and Kaiser, MBA, as well as the private insurance route. So I'm going to move on to the next slide. Before we get into some tips, I do have to put my disclaimer out that we do not claim to be insurance experts. Everybody's insurance is different, and these insurance coverage tips are meant to be used as guidance for you to work with your insurance company. And all the things that we talk about, you'll want to call your insurance directly and ask them these questions so you can get your specific plan answers. So the number here for our reimbursement team internally that works with Medicare, Medicaid, Kaiser, and TRICARE is 1-800-633-4667. In addition, we've partnered with SunMed and Access MediQuip for private insurance. They have contracts with several national private insurance, and they will help you with your upgrade process. So step one, replacing your upgrade order. If you do have Medicare, Medicaid, Kaiser, or TRICARE, the first thing you want to do is place your order. You can place your order using the online store, or you can call us, our customer service department, and place the order with a live representative. You can also chat with us. So if you'd like to go online and initiate a chat, you can do that as well. After we get your order details, we will request that you complete an assignment of benefits form. That form, if you've already used our reimbursement billing services before, we might have it on file. If not, we'll just ask you to complete it. And that just gives us your authorization to work with your insurance and your clinical partners. We'll also then request a letter of medical necessity from your clinic. Once we have that in place, we will work with your insurance company and obtain prior authorization if necessary. After we receive the prior authorization, then we release your order and you have your upgrade at your door. If you choose to go the private pay route, you can contact SunMed or Access MediQuip and place your upgrade order through them. And they will also work with your insurance and your clinic to obtain the letter of medical necessity and authorization if applicable. And they will notify you if there will be any co-insurance or out-of-pocket costs that your insurance is applying towards you. So if you are seeking insurance coverage on your own, it's going to be important for you to know your HCPCS code. And I know that sounds weird because we're not used to dealing with HCPCS in everyday life, but basically the HCPCS code is what the insurance company uses to determine if the item is going to be covered under your plan. And the HCPCS code for the N6 is L8619. So when you call your insurance company, you'll need to inquire about your durable medical equipment benefits and provide them with the code L8619 to determine your coverage. So usually your member services number is on the front or the back of your card. Generally it's on the back, but I know ours is yours on the front maybe. And you'll want to refer to your upgrade as a replacement sound processor. So not all insurance companies know what an upgrade is, and technically an upgrade is just replacing your existing sound processor. You'll want to provide them with the HCPCS code L8619, and as I mentioned earlier, generally this is covered under your DME benefits. If for any reason your plan does not have DME, which is durable medical equipment benefits, then you might want to see if the code could possibly be covered under your major medical benefits. You're going to want to find out if pre-authorization is required. It's completely dependent on your plan. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. One of the big things that you're going to want to keep in mind is that since Cochlear is not contracted with commercial plans, we are considered an out-of-network provider. So you're going to want to ask every single time for an in-network exception. Generally, when you're working with an insurance, they want you to use an in-network provider, but if they don't have an in-network provider available for you to choose, then you need to fight for an in-network exception because it's not your fault as a recipient that they don't have an in-network provider available for you.
Helpful tip.
Yes, very. And then you're going to want to inquire about your out-of-pocket expenses. So your out-of-pocket expenses are going to be your coinsurance amount. So if your plan only pays 70 or 80%, if you have a durable medical equipment maximum, that sometimes is a limit that an insurance plan will put as to say, I'm only going to pay up to this dollar amount for your items, for your DME items. And you're going to want to ask them, lastly, after you purchase the upgrade and you have an invoice from Cochlear, how do you go about seeking reimbursement from them? How do you submit a claim for that reimbursement? Once you know all that information, you need to work with your clinic to obtain a letter of medical necessity. The insurance is going to need to see why the upgrade is medically necessary for you, and they're going to need to be able to reference that from your clinic or your audiologist in order to provide you with authorization. After you've done that, you order directly from Cochlear, and then voila, you have your upgrade at your door. So just some general tips I'd like to talk to you about is some commercial insurances may provide replacements when a sound processor is lost or damaged beyond repair. In addition to that, some plans will cover a replacement processor if it's medically necessary. So if your audiologist feels that you could really benefit from the advanced technology, or maybe you're not hearing as well as you should be, and the new technology is going to help you improve your hearing, a letter of medical necessity really detailing why it's so important for you to upgrade can also justify authorization with an insurance company. So the one thing I want to mention in either way, either option you choose, is you do want to plan early, and the reason why I say that is because the process can sometimes take a long time. When you're working with your clinic to get the letter of medical necessity, when you're working with the authorization, turnaround time can be anywhere from 24 hours to 2 weeks, depending on what plan you're dealing with. And so that's just one thing to keep in mind. You want to plan early and allow yourself around 4 to 6 weeks to receive the device. So for additional support, you can go to www.cochlear.com/US/N6 upgrade. And on the website, you'll find template letters, a template letter of medical necessity. You'll find tips on working with Cochlear's reimbursement team, utilizing your Medicare, Medicaid, Kaiser, and TRICARE. You'll also find private insurance tips that we just highlighted. And what's really, really nice is we've included a pre-authorization request template letter for you to submit to your insurance. And in that letter, it does ask for the in-network exception. Oh, cool. All at your fingertips, so we tried to make the process as simple and easy as possible. So, go online, place your order. Again, you can visit us at www.cochlear.com/US/N6 upgrade. You can call our upgrade line at 1-800-587-6927. You can email us at upgrade@cochlear.com. You can chat with us at www.cochlear.com/US/support. And once you've gone through the upgrade process, You can share your experience or read other recipients' experience with the upgrade process and visit at www.cochlear.com/us/community. So again, the one thing I did want to point out is I don't believe that I gave you the link to the store, and that is www.cochlearstore.com, and that's for online use of ordering accessories and upgrades.
Yeah, and if I'm not mistaken, when you log into your Cochlear store, on the left-hand toolbar towards the bottom, what you're going to see is a link that says eligible upgrades. Mm-hmm. So even if you do not know what your internal device is, if you just go in and log into the Cochlear store and click that button, it's going to show you what you're available to upgrade to, which I think is yes, great.
That's a great point that we didn't touch on earlier, but you're absolutely right. You have all that information at your fingertips and at your convenience. So,
look at that.
Leads us right to our next slide. Again, this talks, shows you our recipient support website, the insurance support documents we just talked about, our Nucleus support app.
Yes.
You hadn't mentioned that yet. And again, we have a print brochure available on the website, just highlighting the new upgrade.
One of the things I'm really excited about, Melanie, is the new upgrade welcome. So they're looking at a one-year campaign, so to speak, to help you get really familiar with your Nucleus 6 sound processor, because there are so many neat features and benefits in it, especially if you're looking at going for a Freedom sound processor all the way up to the Nucleus 6, that'll really help kind of jumpstart you and get you going.
Well, we want to thank you for your time this evening, and we are going to open it up for the question and answer session. So why don't we get started? You want to go ahead and see what questions
we'll go see what we're going to invite Allison up here and get her to come join us back to the party. Come on up, Miss Allison. And do we have a question? Oh, thank you, Michael. This is a great question. I get this all the time, and we've seen it online. When will the Nucleus 6 be available for Cochlear Nucleus 22 implant recipients? That is a great question. Like I say, we get it all the time. One of the things that Cochlear has done is they looked at the Nucleus 5, and what we decided to do as a company is really fast-track our technology for our Nucleus 22 internal recipients. So we've been able to provide generations of upgrade in technology, but with this kind of leapfrog, so to speak, we've really fast-tracked it. And based on what we're going to think with manufacturing and FDA approval process, we're looking at early spring of 2015.
That's great.
So a little over a year and a half from now is when we really anticipate that to be available. Let's see if we have another question.
And that's really exciting, because I know some Nucleus 22 recipient patients had said to me, oh, I really was excited for the Nucleus 5. And now they're grateful that it didn't come out, and they'd be excited about the Nucleus 6, having heard this presentation. Mm-hmm. So how exciting to know it's not that far away for Nucleus 22 recipients.
Oh, here we go. I'm bilateral and can only upgrade one side. Will hearing be harder with two different Nucleus sound processor models? I think that's a great question for you. So hearing with two different sound processors, what do you think?
Well, we've obviously worked with a lot of bilateral recipients who have a Nucleus 22 on one side, and they wear Freedom, and they've upgraded to a Nucleus 5 on one side, and they had no problems getting used to that difference in sound. It took a little bit initially, but ultimately it gave them better hearing. And so I would say the same thing will be true for the Nucleus 6 sound processor. If you don't have a generation of internal device that would accommodate the Nucleus 6 sound processor, and you can only get it on one ear, the technology is so much more advanced. It's such an intelligent processor that it would be worth it to get it on one side. It may take you a little while to get used to it, but I think ultimately you will have better performance, and it won't be much longer until you can get it for both ears.
Cool. Does the Nucleus 6, excuse me, have wireless capability? Well, right now we have a software upgrade, which I was talking about being so excited about, that's currently in development for the Nucleus 6 for it to be able to connect with a range of devices, And the really nice thing, it's going to connect to a range of 2.4 gigahertz wireless accessories. And you might be like, okay, what's that, Harry? I didn't know what it was, quite honestly. I had to ask people smarter than I am. And it's actually the frequency that most of our Bluetooth and wireless technology that our hearing peers, so to speak, take advantage of when they connect Bluetooth in their car through their GPS system. And once that software upgrade is available, I will be there first being upgraded. Allison, you take that. And then you will be able to take advantage of all the wireless accessories that will be available on the Cochlear store at that time. Boy, y'all got all sorts of questions. This is good. When will the Nucleus 6 upgrade be available for Nucleus 24 implant recipients? Again, we're looking at all of that being available early spring of 2015. So just a short time from now. Are wireless accessories included in the system kit? Well, right now, because we're waiting for FDA approval on the software upgrade, they are not included in the upgrade kit, nor do I see them being available in the upgrade kit in the future. When we do have that software upgrade available, we'll have them available immediately on the Cochlear store. And what you may be saying is, Perry, I'm so excited to have that. How am I going to find out about it? Well, trust me, we are going to communicate left and right. And friend us on Facebook, because I'm sure Michael will be the first to post announcing the wireless accessories available on the Cochlear store. What is the orientation in the Nucleus 6 sound processor? Does it work better than the Nucleus 5 sound processor in looped rooms?
Okay, so this question is about telecoil, and I think it means what is the telecoil orientation in the Nucleus 6 sound processor? And in the Nucleus 6, the telecoil is oriented in a horizontal plane, and that will allow you to optimize your hearing when you're on your cell phone. We're such a cell phone community. Mm-hmm. Everyone's on their smartphones. So that will give you the best possible performance with mobile cell phone usage and landlines as well, because it's needed in a horizontal plane. But most rooms, when a room is looped, the telecoil needs a vertical orientation. And so you might ask, I think that was the second question.
Yeah, sorry.
Does it work better than the Nucleus 5 sound processor in looped rooms? There will be something coming in the next couple of months. I think it's called the Loop Booster. That's right. It's called the Loop Booster. And that will be ideal for rooms that are looped, because it will provide that vertical orientation that you need for a telecoil. And so that would be very exciting.
It is very exciting. Oh, good.
Do I need a new map for the upgrade? So the answer to that question is yes, sort of, you do. You don't need to come in and be remapped entirely, so you don't have to come back to your audiologist and count T's and sweep through all the electrodes, but you do need to see your audiologist to have your current map converted so that it can be downloaded into the Nucleus 6 sound processor, and to have your battery life optimized. So you will need essentially a reprogramming visit with your audiologist.
Yeah, I can tell you one thing as far as optimizing battery life. Going from a Freedom sound processor all the way up to the Nucleus 6, you're going to love the battery life that you're going to get on the Nucleus 6 compared to the Freedom. So definitely you want your battery life optimized. Are rechargeable battery options available for the Nucleus 6? I love that. I'm going to take that one. Everybody's like, I know, Perry, you're sitting here with the question. You should answer that. Currently, the rechargeable batteries are not available with the Nucleus 6. As Allison mentioned, and actually it was you, Melanie, mentioned before, once the FDA, we do have FDA approval for the rechargeable batteries, for those people who purchase an upgrade kit, we will be shipping those to you at no additional charge.
And that is so, so exciting that it's going to be included for everybody.
I know. You know what? I should probably read the question first before I just go ahead and answer it. And I'll let you answer it. Why did the FDA not approve rechargeable batteries, wireless accessories, and Smart Sound IQ? Who would like to answer that? Or is it me? I will answer it. We are conducting additional testing. So we are currently in the process of doing what we need to do for the FDA to get everything approved here in the United States. The Nucleus 6 sound processor, you know, it was already designed with the chip that we mentioned earlier to take advantage of the future capabilities. So as we do introduce things that do become FDA approved, you're either looking at something like the rechargeable batteries that we'll go ahead and we'll send those to you at no additional cost. The wireless accessories and Smart Sound IQ, Allison.
Well, the Smart Sound IQ, you'll come back to your audiologist in the future when that is available, and you will have it added to your Nucleus 6 sound processor. So you'll take advantage of those technologies. The wireless accessories, as you mentioned, Perry, you'll see them available in the store. There's something that you can purchase depending on which wireless accessories you're most interested in.
Yeah, not just a software upgrade.
Yeah, absolutely.
When will wireless accessories and Smart Sound IQ be available? As of today, we don't know. I think everybody's holding their breath and waiting with bated breath. We truly don't know yet, but we will have that available. You'll see information on the store, on the community, Facebook. We will have that immediately available for communication. So as soon as we know, you will know.
It's kind of hard to predict when FDA can approve some of these technologies. That's the hard thing.
Oh, this one's for me. Why do I need a letter of medical necessity? Well, since the Nucleus sound processor is a medical device, we're legally obligated to obtain a letter of medical necessity. And a letter of medical necessity essentially serves as a prescription. So you wouldn't be able to get any type of pharmaceuticals without a prescription. It's the same thing for our device. And we recognize that for some of you this is a new requirement, but the prescription does assure us that the audiologist is in belief that you are indeed a candidate for a upgrade or replacement sound processor and that it's right for you. So to simplify the process, we do have a letter of medical necessity template that can be downloaded, and you can do that by visiting www.cochlear.com/us/N6 upgrade. Oh, another one. What is the warranty for the Nucleus 6 sound processor? Currently, the sound processor has a 3-year manufacturer's warranty. Is there a trial period for the Nucleus 6 sound processor? Cochlear does offer a 90-day, no questions asked trial period for the processor. If for any reason you're not satisfied with the product during that first 90 days, you can exchange it or return it for full credit. I just heard you say that after I traded my Freedom sound processor, the cost for me to upgrade is still around $7,000. Will my insurance cover this? Well, we recognize again that this is not a small investment for you to pay for an upgrade, and there are many insurance companies that do provide coverage to cover a replacement sound processor. So again, as we kind of talked earlier, you want to call your specific insurance because they're all different, and you want to ask those questions that we talked about. And if you do visit the website for the tips, those questions and the step-by-step process that we talked about earlier is available for you to reference.
It is a lot of money to upgrade to the Nucleus 6 sound processor. Why is it worth it to upgrade today? Well, hopefully, in listening to this presentation, you're as excited about the advances as we are and as Perry has experienced them. So I think there are so many things that we talked about that are exciting. It's definitely worth it. And I appreciate that Cochlear offers that trial period. But I'm so excited about all of the different advances that are available. I have patients that have been waiting for this for a long time.
You know, I can't say going from the Freedom to this, it's huge.
Yeah.
I know with the Freedom sound processor, I really wasn't a program changer. I pretty much stayed in every day. I tried noise and I tried the focus program, so to speak, but I really stayed in the everyday. With the Nucleus 6 sound processors, all the advancements that they've made compared to the Freedom to the 6,
huge.
I mean, just I forget going from a Freedom to the Nucleus 5 and then to the Nucleus 6, really the technological
advancements.
But I think
even if you compare the Nucleus 5 to the Nucleus 6 and you look at the headroom that's in the Nucleus 6 and it's 5 times more powerful, and you think about what doors will open for patients that you don't have access to right now, the wireless technologies that we talked about, the Smart Sound IQ, so automated programs, I think even compared to the Nucleus 5, it's a big advance.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
excited.
Okay.
Last question.
Is this for me?
Yeah, either one of
Oh,
you.
good. It's any of us.
I am unclear on whether or not my child can use an FM system with the Nucleus 6. If I upgrade my child to the Nucleus 6, will they be able to use the FM system they are currently using at school? And I can answer this question.
Oh, yay.
Because we have several Nucleus 6 recipients who are able to use their same FM, whether that's Roger, whether that's a MyLink Plus. They're still able to use, whether it's an ML14i, they're still able to use the same FM. But you would need to know, obviously, what FM the child was using and have that discussion and make sure that you created an appropriate program for them or fit them with the Euro adapter or made it compatible.
Okay. All right. So we're wrapping it up, and again, you can get all of the information at our website. So I'm going to read the website so I don't get it wrong. www.cochlear.com/US/N6 Upgrade. So I think that's all we have, and again, visit us on the community, go online, visit us on the store, and you'll be able to figure out if your internal device is compatible. And we will see you next time. Thank you, Melanie. Thank you, Allison, for joining me tonight. And most of all, thank you all for taking the time out of your day.
Thank you.